Want to see homes in Florida under $280,000? This first one's actually under $260,000. Let's check them out. So you can see we are in a quiet neighborhood in this first one. We're in Port Charlotte, Florida today. And no sidewalks, no street lights. It's kind of got that rural suburban, a little teetering more towards suburban, I would say, feel. You do got a street light actually there, but not a lot of them. And then there is one over here you can see. But, you know, pretty filled out neighborhood overall. Now, this home itself has some pretty cool perks for the price point. Again, under $260,000. Driveway, it's decent size, pretty wide, not super wide. You do not get a garage. I would say that would be the biggest downside of this home. As you can see though, sneak peek of the backyard, it is fenced in. You got a little side yard here yet to play with. And I gotta say, I like the touches with the home. It's got kind of like a cabin-y feel to it, woodsy sort of thing, with the kind of wood siding and the brick and the shutters. I don't know, I just think it's a cool look. A little bit of a front yard. You can see that right here. You can actually see how it slopes off, and you can see how it slopes off here as well. So that helps prevent flood risk. Essentially, your home is on like a little hill, which is exactly what you want when you're living in Florida. And I gotta say, this is nice that they have lava rock all around the home. Just lower maintenance than mulch, you know what I mean? You don't have to keep replacing it. So it's great that that's already included, and some landscaping with some bushes. I like this little brick accent wall. Lots to like about this. And then as we come inside, I love this. So you got a little like front entryway, you know, sort of a hallway thing here. And then that opens up into this big living space. And there's a lot to love about the outside of this home as well. So stay tuned for that. And the next home's got a lot to love about it too. A lot of interesting things. And the market data, when we get to that, you're definitely gonna wanna hear that. So, because things are pretty wild out here. And subscribe if you haven't, because we're gonna do Punta Gorda next, which their market data is insane. So that'll be in an upcoming video. But like how big and open this space is. Now, keep in mind, this is a big open area. You've got windows that are a little bit older. But with this area being big, it's great, don't get me wrong, but it's both your dining and your living room. So it doesn't maybe seem quite as big when you consider all that, but even so, I would say it's still a pretty big space. You know, all this basically under this light here would be your dining or your living room space, and then this light here you can see would be more designated like a little space for your dining room. This home is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,262 square foot home. It's listed at $259,900, so just under $260,000. It was built in 1985, which you can see with some of the touches here, which I like this little cutout wood action. I don't know if you could call it a cutout, it's like shelving. I know some people might not like it, but I think it's pretty cool. I like those little character and charm pieces that houses have from older eras. And this home has been on the market for 139 days, which is not completely uncommon in Port Charlotte right now. We'll get into the market data with that in a little bit. I gotta say, I actually do like the cabinets and counters in here. Nice countertop materials, kind of that cherry mahogany look for the cabinets. I think it looks really nice. And I like that there's a little window here too to get you some natural light. And if you got kids playing in the backyard, you can keep an eye on them while you're doing dishes or cooking. So overall, not a bad space. It's not a huge kitchen. It's, you know, the open space here in the middle isn't massive, but you're getting quite a bit of cabinet and counter space out of a pretty small footprint, which is good. And you've got yourself a pantry, which is not like super deep, but fairly wide and a fair amount of shelving. So you can definitely get quite a bit in there, that's for sure. And if it seems like I know a lot about Port Charlotte, it's because I do. We actually serve this area. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Port Charlotte, Inglewood areas, all the way up to Sarasota, call, text, or email our team, 941-221-1897. We'd love to help you, whether you're looking to get out of the area and sell a home or buy a home in the area. And we also serve the entire Orlando metro. Anywhere else in Florida, click the link in the description, answer a few questions. That'll get you connected with the realtor in the area you're looking for. That doesn't cost you anything extra, but either getting a hold of us or clicking that link is a good way to support the channel so we can keep making you videos like this. So you got like a little laundry room thing going on here. It's, you know, it's kind of like what you would see coming out of a garage typically. Like, once again, you don't get the garage here, but got Got your washer and dryer here, some extra shelving, a side access door with another window for some natural light to come in. This would be a good spot for the water heater. It makes sense in here. And then a little extra storage space here. So all in all, pretty good use of the space, especially with the extra shelving up there and over here. Gives you somewhere to put a lot of that random, things that you're not really sure where else to put in the home. So that would be your entire kitchen, living room, dining room areas. Let's take a look at the bedrooms now. So this is pretty interesting. I think for the price point, you're getting quite a bit with this home. So this would be like a linen, or however you decide to, use it as a closet, but it would make most sense as a linen because we're right across from the bathroom. But first, guest bedroom number 1. Now, this is why I feel like for the square footage and the price of the home, we're looking pretty good. It's in a flood zone X, which is one thing you want to look out for. There's a lot of things you'll want to look out for when you're moving to anywhere, again, from Port Charlotte to Inglewood up to Sarasota or the Orlando metro that, might not be on your radar, which is why you'd want to get a hold of us so we can kind of put some of those things in, into consideration for you and kind of bring them to your attention. And just to help you shortcut the process with trying to find the right area, right neighborhood, whatever the case may be. But the use of the square footage in this home at the price point, I think, is just really well done. I mean, that first bedroom's a pretty good size. This one's a little bit on the smaller side. I wouldn't say it's small, but it's small-ish. It's not like the smallest I've ever seen, but it's also on the smaller end. So nonetheless, you're getting 2 usable bedrooms at a much lower price point than a lot of Florida right now. And some built-in shelving here. Plus, you're also getting a pretty decent primary, which we'll take you to in a second. Here's your first guest bathroom. Cabinets are definitely a little more on the dated side in here. I think I like the shower though. I think it's kind of fun. Maybe a slightly different color, painting it or something could make it pop, but I like the little brick in there. Nice little accent. And again, I mean, keep in mind the price point. You're talking under $270,000, which you can't say that about a lot of Florida. So here's our primary over here. And as we go that way, let's talk about Port Charlotte a little bit more. So like I mentioned, it's rural, suburban, kind of quiet, but still like along Tamiami Trail and throughout a lot of Port Charlotte, there's a lot of big box commercial shopping. There is a mall that I would say is, how do I put it? It's a half dead mall. Like it's half full at this point, but there is a movie theater in there and a few, things in the food court area and a few stores. And then you also have things throughout the city that you're not going to get in all cities in this area, such as a Best Buy and IHOP. So if you want some more of that big box store commercial stuff, there's some good options, and there's some good mom and pop things throughout the area as well. This primary bedroom is pretty good size. I wouldn't call it big. I wouldn't call it small. I would just call it, yeah, that's good enough. That'll do the job. A little extra space more than a regular bedroom. And then, so this is kind of an interesting layout feature. Check this out. Closet door to get into your walk-in closet. Bathroom over here, pocket door. Love pocket doors. Just a good way to save space and they don't get in the way as much. Got your toilet here, little window above that. Little walk-in shower. Again, it's a smaller home, so like things like this help save space and make the most of the square footage. You don't really need all that extra room in a shower. It's nice to have, but that's about as much space as you need in the shower, and that's what you get. So this was the unique thing though, that same walk-in closet, there's 2 ways to get into it. That was the door we used before. And the light is burnt out in there, so apologies that it's a little dark. And then also you can see a sneak peek of what makes the backyard so awesome from here, from this patio door. Before we go out though, we'll go through this door to tell you a little more about Port Charlotte. It puts you close to Punta Gorda, which has a really cool downtown. Definitely got a unique vibe to that area. And the Charlotte Harbor as well is near, of course, because this is Port Charlotte. And then on top of that, you're close to Northport, which is really good for big box store shopping as well and commercial stuff. And a fair amount of mom and pop shop type stuff throughout the area. It also puts you pretty close to Fort Myers if you want some more, bigger city things to do. They got a great downtown, and then they also have the beach downtown feeling area by Fort Myers Beach. And then you're probably talking about a 45-ish minute drive to that, and then about a 45-ish, maybe give or take, drive to Sarasota, depending on which end you're looking to get to. And that's, again, a bigger city if you want some more big city amenities. Beach access, you're actually really close to Inglewood as well, which Again, has some big box store stuff, some really good mom and pop restaurants, some of our favorites in all of the area, and beaches, of course. You can find lots of prehistoric sharks, teeth, and seashells on their beaches, as well as what's right north of that, which would be a little bit further, which would be Venice. Venice is what gets the fame for being able to find sharks, teeth, and seashells. But Venice has an amazing, quaint, historic downtown with Northern Italian architecture. Inglewood's got a pretty cool downtown in its own right. It's kind of got more of a historic, old Florida feel to it. And then across the street from the beach, that's got its own feel as well. It's almost like a downtown, not quite, but there's a lot of restaurants right across from the beach there, which is pretty cool. And then in Venice as well, you've got a lot of options for things on the water, such as Sharky's on the pier, which has a fishing pier where you can fish without a license. And then at the base of that, there's an entire beach there and a tiki hut restaurant and drink bar there. And then on top of that, you got the jetty, which is kind of like a fishing pier, but it sits closer to the water. You can see dolphins there quite often, great for sunsets, as is the fishing pier. Casperson Beach is probably the best beach in all the areas for finding prehistoric sharks, teeth, and seashells, and there's some big rocks in the water, which gives it a different feel. And we've got a dog beach in Venice where you can have your dog off leash, which is not very common in Florida. So that's a lot of cool things in the area. And as far as like distance, Inglewood, you're talking about a 15 to 20 minute drive to get to beaches, give or take, maybe a little more. Venice, you're gonna add another 10 to 15 minutes to that drive. Northport, you can get to in about, depending on which end you're on, anywhere from 5 minutes to just 10, 15 minutes, possibly less. So, you know, there's a lot of different cities nearby with different options. I love this. This is something you just don't see a lot in Florida, a big wooden deck. And I just think it's really cool and helps it stand out, something different. And this whole area here is shaded, which is awesome. And then you're not just getting that for your entire outdoor space. It's all fenced in, but you know, there's a lot of extra yard yet back here. I mean, there's some room back here, some trees for some shade. Over here, you still got a bunch of yard. So great if you have like, you know, kids or pets that you want to let run around. I think this is awesome. And I like these little planter things along the windows. That's a great touch. Always just looks cute, classic. And then they got a shed back here for you as well. So, I mean, you're pretty well set up back here. And there's definitely the room if you wanted to add a pool as well. So all in all, I mean, I think this home is actually a pretty good opportunity. Again, if you want to buy any of the homes that you're seeing in this video, or, you know, just this area is of interest to you, get a hold of our team and we can help you out. But let's check out the next one. Okay, we're by house number 2. As you can see, pretty similar feel to this neighborhood, a little bit closer to a busy-ish road. Got a couple puppies across the street there and they wanted to say hi. But yeah, overall still a very quiet vibe. And you do got some street lights, no sidewalks, but the road just up there, the busier one, that does have a sidewalk. The house itself, this one sits at about $10,000 more than the last one. And I don't know, I think this one might be the one that I would pick between the two so far. Let me know in the comments once we check it out. It does need some work, but I think there's a lot of upside and maybe a pretty quick turnaround possible with this one. Also like that there's a lot of palm trees out here. Really adds to that Florida vibe. So the main thing that I'm seeing that I think would really help with this house is just a paint job, maybe outside, possibly. Doesn't seem like it needs it as bad on the outside, maybe just a pressure washing, but then on the inside. There's a few other details that it seems like it could use, but, oh, and I just noticed this actually. Looks like it might have some roof damage, so that might change things. You might be looking at needing a new roof sooner than later. But, yeah, that might change my mind a little. But if it wasn't for that, then I would for sure pick this one. That's that you get this little breezeway overhang area here for some shade. And the double door action is always a good look. I think that's really cool. So here's the upside to this home though. About the same size area as the last one in the main living room, dining room area, but you actually have a dedicated dining room space outside of that. So I guess realistically, this is just your living room space. You got a door here right away to the left for some storage, which is great. And you can see it's a little beat up, but again, I think with a paint job, just sand it down and paint it, you're good to go. A lot of the walls throughout the home, just paint them, you're good to go. Most of the living room actually area though looks pretty good on the paint side of things. A few nicks here and there, but all in all looking good. You got some of that shelf action up above that patio door. And as you can see in the backyard, there is a pool there. Now that is completely covered. So when we go out there, keep that in mind. You know, I don't know what the condition is of it at this point. But then you also get this extra little nook here, which could be used as like another dining room space. It's not the one I was mentioning before. You see these a lot in homes in this area in Port Charlotte and Northport. And you know, we've heard some people say they would use it as an office, another dining room space, like a little family room nook. I guess leave a comment, let me know how you would use it. But coming into the kitchen, I gotta say, first of all, I like the angled wall action to separate it, and then the little cutouts above. It's just kind of an interesting look. And it adds character and charm, in my humble opinion. But this is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,737 square foot home. It's listed at $279,000. This one recently had a $10K price drop. The last one actually had a $5K price drop recently. And it's been on the market for 104 days, so a long time. Like the last one, we'll get into the market data in just a bit, which that's not super uncommon for this area. I like the cutout action up above here. But it was built in 1994. So some of that cutout action definitely speaks to that era. Now, I could see a few things about this kitchen not being everyone's cup of tea. So like I said, you know, the main thing I saw as an upgrade need would be like the paint job in some of the areas, just because there's a lot of scuffs on some of the walls. But the cabinets I could see not being everyone's cup of tea, maybe not. And then the countertops and the backsplash. I don't know, I think it's kind of fun. A little cleaning up. I think it could look okay. But, you know, again, like for some people, like, no, it just looks too, you know, of that era or whatever the case may be. I also like the tile in here. Again, let me know in the comments what you think about the tile. So this was the other dining room nook I was mentioning before. And also I gotta mention too, it's nice that they got the kind of slanted ceilings. Really opens up the space nicely and adds character. But good amount of dining room space for this dining nook. A lot of times you'll get these, but they're a lot smaller than this. Like you could fit a pretty good sized table in there and probably see 6 people I think would be doable. And then so there's some other upsides to this one versus the last one. As I mentioned, it's 1,737 square feet, so it's a lot bigger. So you get not as big of a laundry room as the last one, but remember that last one had the laundry room that was just basically a laundry room and then a little bit of storage, and you don't get a garage. I like that there's extra shelving up there on top of the little wire shelving here. But this one, you get that smaller laundry room maybe, but then you get an actual garage, 2-car garage. You can get 2 cars in here. And you got your air handler out here, which is a good spot for that. Your electrical panels out here, a side access door, window for some light, which is great to get. And then enough room for like a little workbench, some extra shelving for storage. Plus, you've got yourself water heater. Oh, this is interesting. This changes my opinion as well. I wonder if that's damage from water damage, which is right around where we saw that patch job on the roof. So that could potentially change things, which might be why you're getting so much square footage. It's almost guaranteed why you're getting so much square footage out of this home, given the price point. So those are little things you'll want to keep in mind. And you know, some of the other potential damages that could come from that. So again, like if you're looking to move to this area, get a hold of our team. You know, a lot of times when we do these home tours, we're going into them completely blind with not a lot of research on them. But if you're looking to buy something, we can kind of dig into some of those things a lot more. We can definitely dig into them a lot more and figure, okay, what exactly happened here? What are, you know, we can let you know what the possible risks are from the damage that had happened, or if, you know, if a lot of homes you're not going to have damage. So, you know, we can kind of put on your radar those things to look out for that could be potential issues in the future. And the windows in here in this home are also in pretty good shape. Newer looking than the last one. So like for me, that was another upside for this home. And then you've got yourself a linen here. Pretty good size, not huge, but big enough to fit quite a bit of towels and a few other knickknacks. Guest bathroom number 1, or just only guest bathroom. Next bathroom would be your primary bathroom. This bedroom, as you can see, this one's got a lot more marks on the wall, and this was the one that really made me say, yeah, this place needs a paint job. But pretty good sized bedrooms. They got the same tile floor going throughout the home as well. Well, I should say most of the home. The kitchen was different, but nice that they kept that consistent. And the bedrooms are pretty good size and the windows are pretty big. And as we head back to the main area, let's give you your market data and ratings and reviews for Port Charlotte so you know what it's like living here. The median sale price in Port Charlotte is quite a bit lower than a lot of Florida. It's $282,000. Right now there's 7.3 months of supply, and that was actually quite a bit higher just a month ago. And you probably seen some videos on YouTube if you know anything about the area, people talking about how everything's crashing because it was so much higher, but that a lot of those people won't take into account the seasonality. Now don't get me wrong, even that high point is higher than the typical high point for most seasons. So we are definitely sitting in a buyer's market, which is reflected in the average sale to list ratio, which is 95.2%, meaning whatever a place is listed, typically you can get it for 95.2% of that. Again, every home is gonna be different. Get a hold of us if you're looking to buy or sell a home in this area, and we can help you out, as well as, of course, anywhere from, you know, Inglewood, Port Charlotte, up to Sarasota or the Orlando Metro, and anywhere else in Florida. Just click the link in the description, answer a few questions. That'll get you connected with a realtor in the area you're looking for. That doesn't cost you anything extra, but either getting a hold of us or clicking that link is a good way to support the channel, so we keep making you videos like this. So your primary bedroom, and then I'll give you your ratings and reviews for Port Charlotte, but pretty good size primary. Bigger than the last one. Not a lot bigger, but bigger. And you get 2 windows, you get a patio door for access to that pool area. And then you do get quite a bit of closet space here. You got a walk-in closet that is sneaky big. Might not expect it to be that wide, with a pocket door to shut it out or off from the rest of the bedroom if you want to. Again, you've got a pocket door to access the primary bathroom, which you can see right there, slides in. And then the primary bathroom is actually pretty good space. 2 sinks, a lot of extra counter space to spare, huge mirror, frosted glass window here and here. And I like this. A lot of times you would see, you know, these huge soaker tubs that take up a huge portion of the bathroom, whereas here they just give you a smaller one, which I don't know, I think I like, because a lot of times you think, oh, that soaker tub is gonna be so nice, and then you don't use it much, and it's taking up a lot of space, and you're paying for that space, you know? At least when you buy the home, so. And then here you've got a walk-in shower, which is actually pretty big. A lot of times these little standalone walk-in showers are not this big in homes from this era, so nice to get that. And you also have a linen, which again is a pretty good size, pretty wide, wider than you might expect. So you can definitely get quite a bit of towels in there. Port Charlotte gets 3.5 stars out of 150 reviews on niche.com and gets an overall grade of a B. Public schools B+, housing B-, good for families B, jobs B-, cost of living B, outdoor activities A-, crime and safety doesn't have a rating, nightlife B, diversity B+, weather A, health and fitness B+, commute B. Okay, so let's check out this pool area. Now I like the French door action option out of the dining room, but just also the fact that there's a lot of ways to get out here. You know, you got a couple different patio doors as well that lets a lot of natural light in and invites you to come out when you are inside, plus a little pass-through window here, a little countertop. Big overhang area with some shade, got a fan here, and then pool here, which again, I'm not sure the status on this. It looks like it underneath it may be functioning yet, but I guess I don't know. It does seem like this home maybe got kind of left abandoned after some storm damage is kind of the vibe I'm getting here. But I do like this. On top of the pool and a lot of overhang area, you've got yourself quite a bit of yard space yet, which isn't always the case in a lot of Florida. There's usually not enough yard to get yard space and a pool. Well, not here. You get both, which is awesome, and all fenced in. So yeah, all in all, not a bad look. Again, it just is a question now of what's the issues with the roof and the damage on the inside. But that being said, that would be something we could look into for you if this is a home that's of interest to you. Again, if you're looking to buy or sell a home anywhere from Port Charlotte or the Inglewood areas up to Sarasota or the entire Orlando Metro, call, text, or email our team at 941-221-1897. We've helped a lot of people move to those areas and sell homes in those areas, and we'd love to help you too. Anywhere else in Florida, click the link in the description, answer a few questions, or the United States for that matter, not just Florida. Answer a few questions, though. That'll get you connected with a local realtor that really knows the area that you're looking to buy or sell a home in. And either clicking that link or getting a hold of us is a good way to support the channel so we can keep making you videos like this. If you want to see another video like this with a market snapshot, ratings and reviews for a city, and of course home tours, check out this one right here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in that video next.